Ouch. That was sharp. Got it. 65 bucks saved. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Maverick Mods. On today's episode, I finished stitch welding the seat pan. Then I would start in on the trunk floor. Things didn't quite go to the plan I had originally. Stay tuned, you'll see what I mean. You guys have probably noticed that I've ground the spot welds really before everything is completely stitched. That's just a technique. I kind of prefer to do intermediate steps here. It works fine as long as you clean the weld back out. A little acetone does wonders for helping clean everything back out after you've ground it. It's strictly a technique thing. At this point, I've got just a few little spots left. And I've got a couple of lights underneath shining up that will help me see where the last daylight's showing through, so I can get those last spots done. So here we go. Alright, let's hit those welds, clean it up a little bit, take one last look. I think we're pretty well sealed in. Okay, we are recording. Let's just start here. All right. Left cowl, seam, 40 and 3/8. Right cowl seam, 39, 15/16. Left pinch weld, front, 14/7/8. Left pinch weld center line, 15 1/4. Left pinch weld aft, 15/7/16. Left rocker panel forward corner, 18/3/16. Your side. Upper corner, kind of right here. Yeah, just as long as you can duplicate it on the other side. And take that down to, what that's measurement I can get here. 67 1/8. Seven and 8. All right, let's look from the back corner over there too.
Up in here.
Just pick a spot.
Or how about on the window, on the corner of the window?
That works. Right there. Call that 88 1/16. I'm surprised. So one of the things that I want to do before we get too far into taking body panels off, inner portion of this taillight panel down here at the bottom valence, it's got a few wrinkles on both sides. I'm going to try and straighten as much of that as I can before taking the tail panel off. I've got it started moving the right direction here. I can't get up in here until I actually get the tail panel off. And it's crunched a little bit back in here. I can't really mess too much with this. Got a little bit to do on the other side yet, so let's go work on that. That was one of them.
What was it?
It's an actual rock. This guy used to work on quarry. One of the things that I need to do to get this trunk floor out is I need to separate these gas tank brackets from the trunk floor itself. I am going to try and leave the brackets in because this lower taillight panel can stay, and it's attached. And it's attached up here. And I'm not taking the trunk panel this far up. I'm only going to take it to about here, I think. So if I can leave these, then I'm in pretty good shape. We'll see about that. But if I can leave all of this, I can leave as much of this structure back here intact as possible and just graft in that trunk bracket. So one of the things I need to do is to separate this, I want to keep these as intact as possible. So I don't want to drill and the spot welds out from this side. I want to do it from the top down. But I need to figure out where the spot welds themselves are. So I'm going to drill pilot holes up through each one of these spot welds and then come from the top down and grind away the spot welds themselves. So, cue the music. All right, all holes drilled. Let's go top side and see if we can't break some of these loose. All right, let's see if we can't find some of these holes. Along here, along there. Okay, here we go. And we'll just hit it real quick. see what we did there. Go back underneath, get the breaker out, see if we can't break these spot welds loose. All right, let's start with a, hopefully it's an easy one. Oh yeah. Let me hit that one again real quick. Third one up. All right, this one is loose from here to here. I'm just gonna have to grind because I can't get the drill up in here. Maybe I can get those from the top, but I gotta be able to see the spot welds first. So I'll get this side and I'll be back with you. You know, there's an old saying, could have been by Sun Tzu, could have been by, I don't know, General Eisenhower, General Custer, General Grievous, I don't know, Captain Crutch, whoever it was, said, paraphrasing, no plan survives the first battle in the war. Something along those lines. Well, my original plan was to replace the trunk floor by itself before I did anything else on the rear of the car. That didn't quite work out. Turns out that the taillight panel, the cross panel, which I keep calling in the video, I keep calling it the lower or rear valence, which is not correct. Anyway, the taillight panel, the cross panel, and the trunk floor are all riveted together, but riveted separately together, and the whole assembly is bonded together, which in the end just basically made it impossible to remove the trunk panel without essentially peeling the layers of the onion. So we had to take the tail panel off first to get to the rivets and the bonding material between the trunk panel and the cross panel. Long story short, the original plan was to put the trunk panel in separately first, get it all stitch welded in. Can't do that because I want to wait until the new taillight panel is in place so that I can get everything lined up the way I want. So that's kind of what happened, and that's why you see a kind of a switch from just replacing the trunk panel to now all of a sudden the taillight panel is gone. Anyway, back to the action. With a good portion of the tail panel removed, now that I can actually access the spot welds that put this lower valence, spot weld of the lower valence to the trunk panel itself, I'm going to take the trunk panel out now, or at least I'm going to take sections of it out, a little bit at a time. I'm going to kind of inch up to the point where I can drop the replacement trunk panel in. So, cue the music. Well, this thing just does not want to give up easily, but I'm going to win. Here's one side. There's always one spot weld, and it's in this one spot you can't get to. Is that part of Murphy's Law? No, can't do that. All right. Time to just go ape on this thing. I'll be back. There's always one final spot weld, but I got it. Okay, so there's half the trunk floor, plus the bumper brackets, which I need to save if I can. So you can kind of see the method to my madness, if there is a method. So the gas tank brackets still attached to the inner taillight panel, valence, whatever you want to call it. So I don't have to realign much there. The inner panel is mostly intact. I have to do a little straightening on it. So I will keep chipping away at the trunk panel, taking a little bit at a time until I can drop the replacement panel in place so we can start working on fitting it. Okay, I'm going to keep peeling away at the trunk floor. The plan is I'm going to take it right along the top part of this ledge here. Once I get to about right here though, I've got to get in fairly close because the frame rail comes fairly close up right in here. So I don't want to take too much there. And I'm going to bring it down. Actually, I'm going to come about here so I can always take more metal off. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to start my cut right here along the seam, although I know I'm going to have to take about 2 inches higher than that just to get away from the rot. So, here we go. With the first cut complete on the old trunk floor, I just laid the new one in here just so I can start getting an idea of where to cut without cutting too much away. Remember, this is just an initial cut, but obviously I've got a lot to take out up front because I don't need to replace nearly that much material up front. Back here, I'm leaving the outer trunk brackets, so this panel probably eventually is going to wind up about right here. However, just to make it fit, I'm going to cut it about here initially, just to be able to set it inside and get it as flush as possible. And then I can make my final cuts. Even for initial cuts, one of the things that'll help is just be stable. Ouch, that was sharp. That just tells me don't cut inside of this line. Still plenty of material left. I'm still going to take away quite a bit more. But that just gives me a baseline idea of where to start. Guys, save your fingers. After you make a cut with a grinder, just take a few extra seconds. Clean the edges up a little bit. That way you can save from the occasional metal splinter or sliver. First real test fit, although this isn't a test fit, this is just to see if I can get it to drop in. I'm not worried up top, I'm worried about back here in the back first. There you go, see? Alright, so first thing I can tell, I've still got some seam sealer or goop I need to knock out of this channel back here before I do anything else. Let's do that. Might fit now. Okay, obviously I got a long way to go yet, but at least now I can start trimming, checking, trimming, fitting, trimming, checking. You get the picture. Okay, let's try a first test fit. Second test fit. Not bad. All right, that's not bad. Of course, needs a lot more to go. Now I'm going to take a quick look at the best way to align the front. I can't really align the back until I get the taillight panel back on, but I can at least get it dropped in. One of the things I like to do when I always can is save as many parts, original parts, as possible. A great example of this right here is this. They call it a gutter. It's actually the mount, or I should say the channel where the trunk gasket fits. It's integral with the tail panel, and it's integral with the lower, it's not even a package shelf, upper trunk panel, lower trunk panel. So it's integral here, but it is not integral with the quarter panel. So this piece from here, see that from here all the way around to here is a separate piece. Normally I'd say, you know, it's not worth the time and trouble, but replacement pieces of these are about $120 a pair. So I'm going to try and save these. Let's see if we can. I'm going to see if I can cut this out with the cutoff wheel. There's not really any room up in here to get a spot weld cutter. So I'm just going to see if I get the cutoff wheel in there and grind those spot welds loose, see what happens. Working on getting the trunk gutter out from passenger side. Got it. 65 bucks saved. Little cleanup yet, but I can reuse that. There you have it, folks. Making good progress on the Firebird. Got the seat pan stitch welded in. Got the trunk floor initially fitted, still a long way to go on that, and starting to deconstruct the back end of the car and taking a look at what it's going to take to move forward on that. Here's a little teaser for what you might see next week. Let's just see if we can get this new quarter in place. And just see if it'll fit. Got to go up over the lip there. Line it up here. Okay. Now I've got to bring it under the wheelhouse. Well, I hope you tune in for that. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. It certainly would help me out. And everyone, have a great day.